In Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya says in the 106th verse, Atma arthatvena hi preyan vishayah na swata priyah swata eva hi sarvesham atma priyatamo yatah tata atma sadanando na asya dukkham kadachana. In the earlier verse, he said that Vishayanam anukulye sukhi dukhi viparyaye sukham dukkham cha tad dharma sadanandasya natmanah. In the earlier verse, he said that whatever happiness or misery we get because of sense objects, that are characteristics of ahankara or egoism. So it is because of ahankara that we get happiness and misery. Anukulye sukhi. If something is good to us or favorable to us, then we are happy. If something is viparyaya or if something is unfavorable to us, then we become miserable. We become unhappy. That happens because of egoism. He said in the previous verse. And immediately in the next verse he says, Atma arthatvena hi preyan vishayah. That a person goes after sense objects because of Atman. Because of Atman. Not because of the sense object, but because of the bliss of Atman manifesting through that sense object. So in the previous shloka, what he said, seemingly contradictory statement he is telling in the next shloka. In the previous shloka, he said it is because of egoism that you get happiness and misery. But immediately in the next shloka, he says that it is because of Atman that you enjoy a particular sense object. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, when Yajnavalkya is asked by his wife Maitreyi, he says that it is not because of the wife that a husband loves the wife, but because of his self which he sees in the wife that he loves her. Or it is not because of the husband that the wife loves the husband, but it is because of the self which she sees in the husband that she loves the husband. So what does it mean? Nowadays, of course, it can be very easily understood. Is it not? How?
But I reflect that in my husband. I want that only.
Okay.
If that not happen, I'm unhappy.
Unhappy. That is one way. But the other simpler way to understand is now, whenever you go to some place, earlier it was that you have the camera and you catch the photograph of the place. Now it is not like that. Wherever you go, you turn the camera and selfie.
Selfie.
So, so now people can easily understand that whatever happiness we get, it is because of the self. When you, the idea here is when you have the enjoyment or when you have the experience of any particular sense object for the first time, say this is the mango season, so first time you are eating mango in the season. So when you eat mango, the first piece of mango which you eat after a long time you have not eaten, say a year you have not had any mango, and when you eat that mango, the first glimpse of satisfaction or happiness which you get is because the true bliss of Atman comes. Just like they say that when you are in deep sleep, Shushupti, then what do we say? We slept nicely. I had a nice sleep. Because you didn't see any dream, you didn't have any, you were not waking, you were in sleep. So then also, that is the reflection of the Atman, true nature of Atman. that you have that experience. So here also it is told that it is Atma Arthatvena. It is only because of the Atman which is manifesting through every sense objects that you find them pleasurable. Find them pleasurable. So what is happening here? Here what is happening is a wrong understanding of yourself. Because you get some happiness, you think that these sense objects will lead you to your understanding your true personality, which will not happen. But that is what we think. And so we run after these sense objects. And why is it like that? Because swata eva hi sarvesham atma priyatamaha. By itself, our true nature, Atma, which is beyond body and mind, is Sarvesham Priyaha. It is the dearest or lovable by all. It is lovable by all. And these Vishayaha na Swataha Priyaha. All these sense objects are not loved because of their nature. They are not loved because of their nature. If you go to a mall or if you go to a shopping complex, there are so many things there, but you don't like them so much. There is not so much bonding. The moment you purchase something, then it becomes your mobile phone. Then you start loving that. Then you start liking that more and more. You go to a place and you see so many kids. You don't like them so much. But when you have a kid, and suppose that boy or girl is there, then you like that girl or boy, that particular child very much. Because of this bonding, because of this belonging, because of this attachment, you like things. So similarly here it is told that Vishaya or sense objects we don't like in itself, but we like only when they are connected to us, or we like because of our own self. And so why? Because we love ourselves. So all this ego, idea of ego or I, even a person who is suffering from complete amnesia, that is a person who completely forgets whatever has happened in his life or her life, that person also does not forget the word I. What does the person say? Who am I? Or what has happened to me? A person who suffers from severe Alzheimer's disease forgets everything, cannot remember anything, cannot even remember the space dimension. That is, that something is above, something is below. You put a person who is suffering from Alzheimer's and in a first floor or second floor, and the person may walk to the balcony and keep on walking because the person loses the idea of space, height, etc. But that person also has I. That person doesn't forget I. Why is it that? Because this I is a window, is a link to our Atman, to our true nature. So that person also says I. Everybody says I. So this I connects us to all these sense objects, and that is why we love sense objects. What are we doing? We are trying to wrongly identify this I with the enjoyment we get from the sense objects. So what is the solution to get rid of attachment to sense objects? To understand what this I truly is. That is the solution. If you know what this Atman is truly, then you will not be attached to sense objects. Otherwise, considering the sense objects to be Atman or to be our personality, we go behind it. And therefore, it is told, Tata Atma Sadanandaha Na Asya Dukkham Kadachana. So, what is being told here is whatever happiness we get in our life, whatever happiness we get from whatever source we get, that happiness is not because of that particular object or that particular work or that particular place. People come here and they feel very happy. Oh, Himalayas, Mayavati, like that. But that is not because of the place. It is because of the bliss of Atman that you are getting that happiness. So if you try to stay in the same place for a long time, that happiness will go away because you have not understood the true nature of Atman. So you are trying to find that happiness in this particular surrounding or a particular sense object. That will not stay. Then Shankaracharya says, Yat sushuptau nirvishaya atmanando anubhuyate shrutihi pratyaksha maitihyam anumanam cha jagrati. Yat sushuptau, in deep sleep, in a sleep in which there is no dream, we nirvishaya atma ananda anubhuyate. Nirvishaya, without any sense objects, we experience the ananda or the bliss of Atman. We experience the bliss of Atman. Why? Because there are no sense objects, there is no experience, there is nothing to do whatever. We don't even know that that particular part of our existence ever existed. So you are in deep sleep, you don't know what happened during that time. It is as though it is a period of blackout, but you feel something happy. You feel something good about the whole experience. And that happiness or goodness comes because at that time there was nothing but this bliss of Atman. So, Shankaracharya says, this is Shrutihi. This is attested or this is corroborated, certified by Shruti. What is Shruti? Shruti is something which is passed over by word of mouth, something which has been heard. Shravana means to hear. So something which is heard and passed through hearing, that is called Shruti, and that is Vedas. Swamiji says, by Vedas no books are meant. So here it is a mass of knowledge which is being passed from generations to generation, and that we generally say whatever knowledge we could write down, we say they are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. So in all these Vedas, there are some texts which are called Upanishads, and those Upanishads, they tell us about the deep sleep, particularly the Kaushitaki Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These Upanishads, they talk about, and also the Mandukya Upanishad, they talk about the deep sleep state. And in deep sleep, they say that what you experience is because of the Atman, because of the nature of your true self. And also Aitihyam. We also know this by tradition. We also know this by Pratyaksha. When we go into deep sleep, we know that we have this experience of some happiness. We know that by direct perception, direct experience, and Anumanam. And also we can know this by inference, that we went into deep sleep and then we did not have any kind of experience, but at the same time we are feeling happy. So this type of, so when you go to sleep and you come out and then you feel happy, this is very common. So whenever something in our hostels, what do we do? Whenever some boys, they have some problem, particularly in the beginning of the session, students become homesick. So they say, I want to go to house, etc. So what do we say? We say, okay, you go to house, but after taking food. You take food, lunch, have lunch, and take rest. And then we feed nice lunch. Always we feed nice lunch, but at that time we try to give more, extra something, so that this boy will fall into sleep, and then he will sleep. And after he gets up, he says, okay, Swamiji, I think I will stay. Now whole world looks so nice. So when you don't have sleep, suddenly you become irritable and you don't feel but good about everything. But when you sleep, everything feels good. So that is how inference. What happened during that sleep? Your sleep is, as we know, consisting of deep sleep and also dream sleep. So deep sleep in sleep language or in neurology is called non-rapid eye movement phase. And then there is this REM phase, that is rapid eye movement phase of dreaming sleep. So when you come out of sleep, you feel better, you feel nice, you feel that something, the world has suddenly become a happier place. Why does that happen? Because of this deep sleep state. So that is how you can infer that yes, deep sleep, whatever experience you get, there is no experience, but whatever joy or happiness or contentment or bliss you get out of deep sleep, that is because of Atman. अव्यक्त नामनी परमेश शक्ति अनाद्य विद्या त्रिगुणात्मिका परा कार्यानुमेया सुधियैव माया यया जगत सर्वमिदं प्रसूयते. Now that is, if that were the case, if deep sleep were to give us so much joy, then the obvious question, the answer or the question would be, why shouldn't we sleep constantly? Be in a joyful state. Mm. Why all this problem? And so, though deep sleep state has some joy, but it is an ignorant state. You are not aware of your true nature. You are not aware that you are the Atman. You are just ignorant at that time. So that is what Shankaracharya says here. Avyakta namni paramesha shakti anadi vidya trigunatmika para. This anadi avidya, this avidya or ignorance or maya, that is avyakta namni, that is also called the undifferentiated, means which does not have any difference. And it is parama isha shakti, it is the power of Lord. So Lord is creating maya. It is because of Lord that maya has been created. Talking about Guru, Tulsidas says that I would worship Guru more. Why? Because this, if there were a comparison or I had to choose between God and Guru, I would choose Guru over God. Why? Because this God, what has he done or she has done? Put me into this maya, into this ignorance, into this suffering. But it is Guru who has brought me out of this or who has shown me way out of this. So, who gives this maya or ignorance? It is God. It is the power of God. And this maya or ignorance or avidya, she is anadi, without beginning. We don't know when this ignorance started, but there is an end to it. We don't know when it started, but there is an end to it. And she is made up of trigunatmika. She is made up of three gunas. What are the three gunas? Sattva guna, Raja guna, and Tamo guna. Sattva guna is the quality of calmness, of not of having a steadfast mind, of having less desires, purity, etc. And Tamoguna is the straight opposite of Sattva-guna. It is a quality of inertia, not having purity, etc. And Rajoguna is the quality of restlessness, too much of activity, not having any calmness, etc. Now, these three gunas are there in every person in different proportions. So, a person who has got sattva guna more predominance of sattva guna, that person is called a sattva guni, sattvic. A person in whom the rajoguna is more predominant, that person is called rajasic. A person in whom tamoguna is more predominant, that person is called tamasic, etc. So these three gunas are there, and she is para, she is superior to the effect of all these gunas. Though she is made up of three gunas, but she is not bound by this. So ignorance is above these three gunas. That means ignorance or maya is there even without the effects of these three gunas. And yaya karyanumeya, anumeya, she has to be inferred. Sudhi, people who have the Sudhi, who have clear intellect, they infer or they understand about her, means Maya or Avidya, from Karya, from effect. How do we understand? I want to be good, but I am unable to be good. I want to go beyond my senses. I want to control my mind and senses, but I am unable to do it. So I understand that there is some other power which is preventing me, which is obstructing my controlling the mind or senses. In Bhagavad Gita, Gita Shri Krishna says, Prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. So, Prakriti or the gunas, they are pulling a particular person in different directions. What can restraint do? Nigraha kim karishyati. So, you want to not eat that sweet because you have diabetes. But the more you try, the less you are successful. The more you want to not eat, like they say, if you resist it persists, no? So but you want to avoid this, but still it comes. So that is the thing. Then you know that there is somebody who is preventing my controlling the senses or controlling the mind, anumeya. And not everybody can know that. Only people who with clear brain or clear thinking, clear intellect can know this. Other people don't know that. Most of the people, what do? They don't even try to control the senses. They just say that I want to eat, so I am eating. So suddenly you say that you want to do it. Actually, you don't even want to do it, but you have no other recourse. You have no other alternative. You have to do. You have no other option. Why? Because you are bound by your gunas. Yaya jagat sarvamidam prasuyate. And it is because of this avidya that the whole world is produced. Whole world is produced. It is because of this avidya that a whole universe is seen. If you didn't have this ignorance, then you would not see any difference. You would see only Sat Chit Ananda. You would not, there would be no seeing seer. There will be nobody to see. There will be no subject object relationship. So you now see me, I see you because of ignorance. Because of ignorance. So this deep rooted ignorance is there. And because of that, this whole world is functioning. So Shankaracharya is telling that we have to understand that this ignorance is at the root of everything. Once we understand that, then we will be able to get rid of this ignorance. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.